Pecco Bagnaia looking to complete the dream double for Ducati after his sprint showdown success over 11 laps yesterday afternoon. All-time lap Motogp top speed here today, 366.1 kilometers. Brad Binder blitzed through the speed guns yesterday. Near on perfect conditions, a little bit of a breeze around, but high 20s is the ambient temperature at Mugello. The hillsides filled, the smoke bombs, the flares going off, the flags waving as we get set for this 23-lap Grand Prix of Italy. Coming into this sixth round, there is the lights out, and we are racing here in the Italian Grand Prix. It's a really good launch from KTM star Jack Miller. What an electric start it was by the Australian. He just powers on by Pecco Bagnaia on the interstanding line for the first time. For open for Martin to attack him going into the fast Arrabbiata. Marc Marquez almost tagged the back there, didn't he, of Luca Marini. That was so close to disaster going down to Scarperia. Big head shake there on the brakes for Marc Marquez.
They've all dropped behind Binder as we see Marini going side by side with Jack Miller. Miller's now lost 2 places to 2 Ducatis, he's fighting back.
Yeah, I think Miller was just a little bit wide there, wasn't he, coming through turn number 4. Marini just got alongside him, but Miller at the inside line, then Comet started in P6 and he's held station. There was a at the same time between Martin and this freight truck. So far back there to the Brazilian Ducati man. He wasn't able to pull it up on the brakes going into San Donato. Miller did not like that one bit.
Well, Marc Marquez was on the inside with about 3 riders there. There was inevitable contact there because they're all going for the same piece of racetrack at once.
I've no idea how Marco Bezzecchi and Marc Marquez got away with that one. There we go again. Alex Marquez running in wide, then cutting back to the line where Jack Miller, who's 1.7 seconds behind Bagnaia. He's then got 2 seconds back to this manic melee unfolding between the likes of Miller, the Marquez brothers, Binder's in there, Zarco and Bezzecchi.
Yeah, Alex Marquez has just passed Brad Binder a couple of corners.
Points in this Italian Grand Prix. There are your 2 leaders sweeping through them. Zarco just hugging that inside line. He's very, very good at turning that Ducati, isn't he? He's turning on a sixpence there on the inside of Brad Binder's KTM rider this year's Motogp World Championship. There he is there. Marco Bezzecchi powering that really the off-horse Ducati through the breathtaking Arrabbiata 1 and 2 section. Bagnaia has just had a good first half at this lap number 5.
Yeah, Brad Binder has now gone through on Jack Miller. They're battling though for 7th and 8th.
Marini's been a really good record set for the Marquez boys because Luca Marini's up to his pace. He got down to a 1:46.898 on that lap number 5 and able to go with it on time. This is just what...
Oh, Marquez there!
He's gone down! Full lead angle, he's not saving that one, and it's another DNF then for 30-year-old Spaniard Marc Marquez. He's looking at that stricken Honda, he can't believe it. What on earth happened? Trying to line up some slipstream behind Luca Marini's Ducati. He went in,
turn back and get a good run and use the toe down the straight, but the problem is you have to turn back a little harder, and the front didn't cope with that. Down he went.
Yeah, thanks to that, Simon. You could clearly see his reaction. He was caught cold, wasn't he, by that. He just didn't...
On track at the moment is Johan Zarco running in 5th place at 1:47.012. His personal best lap of the Grand Prix last time around. This is closing in ever so slightly on Marini and the sole remaining Marquez in the field. It is a Ducati.
Honda ride was astonishing.
Marco Bezzecchi there, who's way out wide there, has got back to him through Bacchini. He's now on the back. He's behind the latest Spargaro. So Bezzecchi, who passed Jack Miller at the start of this lap, has now let the Australian through and the latest Spargaro. Bezzecchi, though, very quickly. Look,
he's going to be riding on pure adrenaline right now, isn't he, Marini, to hang on to that home podium.
The incentive of a podium finish on his own Grand Prix will certainly keep that adrenaline pumping for Luca Marini. We're going up to the start of lap 10 of 23. And
back at the end of 2023 riding, you feel, for his Premier Class future. Lots of talk about Tony Arbolino slotting into his seat, 17th at the moment. We just saw Raul Fernandez directly ahead of him. Simon, before the bikes draw, as Simon just mentioned, those guys on the medium rear tyres should have the better endurance, the better durability for the final stages. One man to keep a close eye, because whether it's been rain or shine in 2023 late on, the man with the top, Fabio Quartararo, was sick of the sight of that number 23 Ducati. He stared at the back of it for all the entire sprint yesterday. Quartararo having a very
very similar story on Sunday.
Something else to consider as well is that Brad Binder, who is the man on the charge here, versus GP22 on the inside, goes Alex Marquez. Is he going to hold that inside line? No, he's not. There's not a lot of room there for Marini to fight back on through, but he took it. Now then, Marini versus Marquez. This could get pretty feisty. Marini has the advantage. Oh, great speed, great consistency, but he just can't find a way to get that gap to Bagnaia back under half a second, can he?
Looks 4/10 at the moment coming through the third sector. That's certainly what we're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen. Bagnaia through the Piondetto here, but still only 14th for him. Gian Antonio currently holds the final point. But this is our focus at the moment. The battle for third place. If anything happens between Bagnaia and Martin, with that gap closing, we will keep you up to date. But at the moment, Marquez holds.
The top 5 bikes have rolled off the production line in nearby Bologna. There's a lot on the line here, particularly for Alex Marquez. There'll be big brownie points here in the Gresini Ducati squad if he can take a podium in their home race. Luca Marini is desperate.
Alex Marquez down that main straight. John Zarco was the quickest rider of that trio. In fact, he was the quickest rider on circuit last time around. Zarco 1:47.267
ahead of him.
That was a big lap for Bagnaia, that at 1:47.1. His quickest lap for quite some time as Alex Marquez crashes out ahead of us, out of a podium position.
Well, that's a gift, isn't it, for Marini and for Deal, tough one to take. What that means then now, the battle as it stands for the final place on the podium is now between Marini and Zarco with Binder.
So obviously that's promoted everyone else further back, up one position in the order. So now Binder and Miller for the KTMs, 5th and 6th ahead of Aleix Spargaro. But Marco Bezzecchi is having a really tough afternoon. He's just on a 1:48.2.
He clearly has been the standout rider so far in 2023, and he's just trying to prove that point in emphatic fashion here in front of his home crowd.
Starting to rediscover that consistency, and it's giving him a very strong position in the championship, although we shouldn't forget, of course, Jorge Martin is still firmly in that title picture as well. At the moment, he's certainly going to limit the damage. That would be the situation at the moment. Martin was close within 3 points.
It was a narrow second to Pecco Bagnaia, but at the moment, Lewis, he's on what, lap 17, 13.2 seconds. He's nearly a second off the pace here. This is a humbling and chastening experience, not just for Quattro, but for Yamaha.
Really made contact as well, and now looking forward from Marini towards Zarco, who did appear to be the quicker of the two. Now the question is, of course, with a full clear lap
of the season, he's picking up a whole chunk of points to keep himself in the early battle for the top 3 in the World Championship. Hard to displace him, really. I mean, he's going to come in and do a better job than Zarco as it stands, but you do have to say, though, he is
on, and he wanted to keep into next year too.
He's he had to work hard for it, broken the resolve of Jorge Martin, who you just think now is going to bunker down, isn't he, and settle for that second place. Very important. And he's well on course for another Grand Prix victory. 3 sprints ahead.
Now got Bezzecchi back on their rear wheel again. The last couple of laps, Bezzecchi has been able to find some late pace, back down into the low 48s. He still could potentially salvage a top 6.
Yes, Zarco then. At the moment, he is able to. I think it's fair to say life was a lot easier at the helm of the factory Suzuki project. There's lots of work to do behind the scenes at HRC, with Juan Mir and Alex Rins already ruled out of this Italian Grand Prix with injury. Marc Marquez crashing. What has he said repeatedly? Of course, all kinds of rumours about what Marc Marquez's future holds. He's under contract to Honda for 2024, but he says, having worked so hard and putting himself through mental and physical.
He was the best part of half a second quicker than the leader last time around, so Zarco finishing strongly. It's not going to come in time for him to chase down Jorge Martin in the battle for second place. Paolo Campinotti staring at a double podium for the...
If it doesn't work out for him next weekend, you do wonder if that just starts throwing more doubt in his mind about the capability of Honda to get themselves out of this massive hole they find themselves in right now. 5.2 kilometres left. He drops down through Casanova and Cervelli, and surely Pecco Bagnaia is going to make it back-to-back Grand Prix victories here in Italy. 1 and 2, Pecco Bagnaia goes, what a day, what a weekend this has been for Ducati in their home Grand Prix. The top 5 in yesterday's sprint, they're going to take the top 4 in the Italian Grand Prix, back to the 9th. Morbidelli rounds out the top 10, Quattararo, disappointing 11th to say the least. Vinales, Nakagami, Gian Antonio and Augusto Fernandez complete the point scoring places, but take a bow. now he's taken the Grand Prix win as well to open up a 21-point championship lead over this man, Marco Bezzecchi, who will be bitterly disappointed. That's not what he came for today, was it? An 8th place.
Vizioso, he's now got the second most Grand Prix wins for Ducati.